and bios, and y'all did a fabulous job, so thank you so much. And congratulations to all of our recipients. Are they not awesome? And ladies, I stick to my timeline, and we are on time, so I'm super excited. Now it's my honor to introduce our keynote speaker today, Jay Franco, MBA, NCM, the 2026 American Businesswoman, one of the American Businesswomen's Association's highest honors, and an award-winning entrepreneur, keynote speaker, and founder of FIMM Agency. For more than a decade, Jay has helped business owners and organizations grow their influence through strategic marketing, communication, and leadership. A multi-award-winning leader in her industry, her work has earned national and international recognition, including back-to-back Stevie Awards as Social Media Manager of the Year, multiple honors as Houston's Best Marketing Consultant, and numerous awards celebrating entrepreneurship, marketing excellence, and leadership. A graduate of USC Annenberg with a double master's in communication management and an MBA, Jay is known for blending practical leadership lessons with authentic storytelling that challenges audiences to think differently, lead boldly, and create lasting impact. She believes true leadership isn't measured by the titles we hold, but by the lives we impact, the opportunities we create for others, and the legacy we leave behind. Today, she challenges us to reflect on the important question. It gives me goosebumps. That's not the title.
Good title.
What kind of leader are you when another woman succeeds? Please join me in giving a warm welcome, celebrating women welcome, to the keynote speaker, Jay Franco, as she presents the 4 women in every room.
Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You know, when Tina asked me to keynote this event, I was like, of course. And then she went a little, you know how Tina is. She likes to challenge people. So she's like, but you're going to speak on this topic. Here's the theme. And I was like, oh, okay. I've never spoken on that theme ever before. And so she sent me an article by Kelly Croy. And it talks about the importance of celebrating others. And naturally, that is very fitting for the name of our event, Women Celebrating Women. I don't want to make a lot of noise in here, because I talk a lot with my hands. So let's get a little naked. So naturally I was like, wow, that is so fitting for our event. You know, we're women celebrating women. And while I wanted to focus today's keynote exactly on what Corey's philosophy said, and I want to share that philosophy with you. He says that nobody wants to be around people who just tolerate them. Everybody loves to be around people who celebrate them. Leadership is a skill which can be learned and taught, and one of the most important lessons is celebrating others' successes. And how those who celebrate others live a more stress-free and less anxious life. And I was like, yeah, that's so good. But of course, I was very challenged with that topic. And I said, well, we all know how to celebrate other women. So let's not get too superficial and say it's about celebrating each other. See, we know how to celebrate. We are doing that today. The real question is, what kind of leader are you when other women succeed? Not when you succeed, not when you get promoted, not when someone when someone else is getting the award, what kind of leader, right, are you when another woman is succeeding? Think about that today, because that is what I want to talk to you about today. So today's talk is not about celebrating women, even though we are celebrating women. It's about leadership maturity. See, most women know that you should celebrate other women. And that isn't the problem. The problem is when the spotlight lands somewhere else. When she gets the promotion, she gets the opportunity, she gets the award. See, that's when leadership gets tested. Because the true test of leadership isn't how you respond to your own successes. It's how you respond to someone else's successes. See, nobody wants to be tolerated. We all want to be celebrated. And to be honest, in the real world, we're tolerated at work, we're tolerated in leadership, we're tolerated when we're on the board, we're tolerated in organizations, we're even tolerated in friendships. Tolerance says, you can sit here. But celebration says, I'm glad you're here. And there's a massive difference between those two experiences. Believe me, I've felt that this year. See, people grow where they are celebrated, not where they are merely allowed. I want you for a minute to think about leaders in your life. So take a minute to think about who are those special leaders in your life who have been present in your life at one point. Think about them. And it wasn't because they were the smartest. It wasn't because they had the most titles. It may not have been a leader that was the most dynamic on stage and could speak to a crowd. See, these are the people that may have not even been the most accomplished at all. These leaders, they saw something in you before anyone else did. That's what true leadership is. They see something before that you may not probably see. And it doesn't matter how many titles they have, they might not even have a title. And that's leadership. See, most people define leadership as influence, titles, achievements, even followers. And you think that that is leadership. But some of the most influential leaders that I've ever known never held the highest title. I remember one of the leaders in my life, I talked about him often. His name is Charles Miller. And I remember when I got my second master's degree, and I was working at Stila Cosmetics. And he was so proud of me. And he was my regional director. I was a senior executive sales account executive for Stila Cosmetics. I just finished at USC. He was so proud of me. We were at the corporate office. And he walks me into the marketing department because he knew that my heart was set on working in marketing at Stila Cosmetics from day one, from the minute that I was hired. And he presents me to the leadership team, and they all knew me. Everyone in that department knew me, and they knew who I was, because I've been around for a while. And he walks in and he goes, Jane just graduated from USC with her second master's. And instead of getting celebration, this is what I got. has more degrees than all of us put together in the room. I didn't even know what to do with that. And he was so embarrassed. But let me tell you, he was an incredible man that left such an imprint in my life because he was always opening doors, always recognizing anything I had done, whether it was a small achievement or a big achievement. He was always advocating for me. And he was not the top of the organization. He was not the president. He was a regional director. But he always made sure that he recognized my achievements in front of everyone at corporate office. So, the most influential leaders don't always have the highest titles. What they do have is the ability to make other people believe in themselves. So here's a lesson, all wrapped up in one slide. I'm going to give you, next slide. There you go. So if we can sum up my keynote in one slide, this is it. If this is the one slide you want to screenshot, you can screenshot this right now because this is the entire talk right here in one slide. The highest form of leadership is not personal achievement. Believe me, I know that. It's helping other people believe that they can achieve it too. And here, at this moment, is where I want to introduce this concept that I came up with. Because when Tina told me I needed to talk about this, back in January, I had this whole idea of what I wanted to talk about today. And it has completely changed 6 months later. That is not the talk that I was going to have today. So I want to introduce to you the 4 women in the room. See, every room has these 4 women that you see here. Every organization, every board, every networking group, every friendship circle. And the question for you today is not, have you met them? Okay, so I'm not asking you, have you met these women? The question for you today is, which one of these women are you becoming? And so I want to introduce the first woman in the room. This first woman, she's the champion. This woman right here is the woman who will open that door for you. She will speak your name in rooms that you haven't even been before, rooms that you haven't even dreamed of being in either. This is the woman that will fight also for you. This is the woman that if she sees an injustice done to other women, she is the first one to advocate for all of them. She's the first one to open the door for someone else. She's the first one to say, no, here, have my chair. That is a champion. The champion will go above and beyond to make sure that you win, because it's not about her. It's about championing for others. She has a greater purpose in life. She's here on this earth to do something bigger with her impact. She will speak your name in rooms that you've ever dreamed of. Your success doesn't threaten them. In fact, your success amplifies it. She will amplify your success. And I can tell you, because I have one of those in my life. To the point where I can tell this woman, man, I would love to land this account. and she will go out of her way to make sure that I get connected with that person in the community. Better yet, you see her on the screen. I don't have to name names. We were out in a social event because we were both named the most influential women of Cypress, Texas. And we were at the social event, and she knew a conversation I had with her months ago. And I said, oh man, I'd love to run the pickleball accounts. I'd love to do social media for the pickleball guys. And we just happened to have been in that room. Well, let me tell you, this woman, it's not even just this woman. It's what she does and who she uses and who she tells also to help open doors. Next thing you know, her husband is flagging me down from across the pickleball yard saying, Jay, come here. I'm going to introduce you to the owner of the pickleball. That's how she uses that influence. And I was like, Doug didn't know that conversation I had with her. But she makes sure that she does. And she doesn't just do this for women. There's a reason why she was named the Women of Influence of Cypress this year, because she does this actively every single day in the community for business owners. She is a true champion out there. She will connect you to the right people. She will make sure that if she doesn't know that person, she will connect you with the person that will connect you to the next person that will finally get you into that room. How many of you can say that you can champion for other women? How many of you say, man, I want to do that. I want to be the woman who champions for others. Because champions, well, they operate from abundance. The next woman in the room, she's the mirror. See, the mirror is different. The champion opens doors. The mirror, well, they expand belief. The mirror sees something in you that you cannot yet see for yourself. And sometimes one sentence that they tell you changes everything. I wanna. Now someone take a picture and send that to her.
I got you. No, I got you.
A lot of you have seen this picture online. Well, let me introduce you to my mirror. And that is exactly what was going on in this picture. And I remember Barbara, she was sitting over here, Barbara's sitting right next to me, and there's Dior. And I'm going to explain that whole picture to you because we never actually told the story about what was going on in this picture, but everybody saw it online. And everybody was trying to caption it. And I know some were like, well, you know, girl, and all of these things came up, and we were just cracking up. Because in this picture, she was literally transferring that belief, right? And so let me back it up and tell you a little bit about the story about the mirror. When I met Dior Davis in 2024, she was the American businesswoman that year. And I was in awe of her, as we all are all the time. And I was like, wow, she's incredible. I could only dream of being a woman like that. And that's what I thought. And I remember going up to her, introducing myself. I remember speaking with her, and there was just something about her that caused me to turn around and tell her, you're going to be president one day. And she looked at me and she goes, you think so, girl? And I said, yes, ma'am, you are. I can see it. And here's where the story gets better. See, she became District 1 Vice President. She's the current Vice President of the national organization. She's currently running as well. She's a candidate. And this year, during National Women's Leadership Conference, she pulled me aside at the ambassador's breakfast, and she pulled me aside in the side of the room, and she said, "You are going to be the American businesswoman." And I looked at her and I said, "Girl, you can only dream." And she goes, "Oh, no. She goes, "I'm telling you, just like you told me back then, 2 years ago, that I'd be here right now." And I remember the conversation, and I said, "Oh yes, I do remember." She goes, "Yes, and look at where I am now, Jay." And I was like, "Yes, ma'am." See, the mirror can see what you can't yet see in yourself. The mirror transfers courage and belief from one to the other. Celebration is not applause. It's the transfer of courage from one woman to another. And that's what we're doing here today. We're not applauding. We are transferring courage to each other in this room today. So I want to remind you, something I'm really good at saying all the time, is don't discount yourself. Now, we had the funny moments, we had the heartfelt moments. I shared with you who the champion was. I shared with you who the mirror was. But unfortunately for you, this is where we get really uncomfortable. And we must have conversations like this. See, the next woman I want to introduce to you is the scorekeeper. Now, the scorekeeper, they constantly measure who got recognized, who received the applause, who got the promotion, who got invited. They're constantly keeping track of the score. This is the woman that when you earn an award, when you earn a promotion, this is the woman that doesn't come up to you to celebrate you and tell you how amazing you are and you did it and how you did a job well done. This is the woman that unfortunately comes up to you and tells you, "Oh, I didn't qualify this year. Don't worry, I'll get it next year." This is the woman that tells you, instead of celebrating, she says, "Oh, I did that too." Or, "I've done that too." That's the scorekeeper. And unfortunately, most of us have been her. So I want to ask you a really hard question right now. Can you celebrate the award you wanted? The position that you wanted? The opportunity that you wanted? Because if you can't celebrate her success, then that's leadership maturity. The fourth woman in the room is the gatekeeper. See, she operates from scarcity. She believes that influence must be protected, that opportunities need to be controlled, and that recognition needs to be rationed. This woman is the woman that says, I'll go first, then you go. This is the person that says, I'm gonna go first. The person that also tells you, well, it's my time right now, not yours. This is who the gatekeeper is. But I want to remind you today, abundance leaders, they know that there is enough room, enough opportunity, and enough impact for all of us in the room. So let's have a mirror moment. Which one are you becoming? It's not which one do you know. That's not the question that I'm asking you today. The question that I'm asking every single one of you in the room today is, which one are you becoming? Not which woman have you met, because leadership is revealed most clearly in how we respond to another woman's success. And remember, I'm here to make you uncomfortable today. So I'm going to ask you a series of questions. I want you to really think about these questions. Who here have you been cheering for privately that you should be advocating for publicly? Think about it. Whose name should you be speaking in rooms that they haven't entered yet? Think about her. Who comes to mind when I say these questions? Who is doubting themselves right now that needs you to lend them belief? Who have you been unintentionally competing with instead of celebrating them? Who are you withholding recognition from because they remind you of yourself? Whose success have you been quietly admiring but never acknowledging? Who needs you to be their champion? Who needs you to be their mirror? And I have one last question for you. Can another woman's success feel safe in your presence? Because it's so important that as we celebrate the women today in this room, that their bright light is not dimmed. That you take the time to amplify their light, that you stand behind them and make sure that that light radiates even brighter and bigger and reaches even more. Because by themselves, they can light up only a certain amount. But with you behind them, their reach can be far more impactful. And a lot of times as women, we don't create a safe space for women that have success. And this is not part of my speech. I feel like the Lord is asking me to speak on that. I've had a really hard time this year because I've had to diminish my success and dim my light to make other people feel comfortable because I didn't feel comfortable in their presence. And I don't want any woman in this room to ever feel what I've been feeling this year. Whether you're the Woman of the Year or the top 10 or a protege, it is valuable. It's an incredible success. And everyone here in this room needs to stand behind those women that got recognition today and amplify their reach. Every room needs a champion. And every room needs a mirror. The question is, will you become one? Long after people forget our titles and our accomplishments, they will remember how we made them feel about themselves. I want to leave you today with this in mind. And in closing, leave every woman you meet believing a little more in herself than she did before she met you. Thank you so much.
I don't know who needed to hear that message more than anyone in the room. I feel like I did. I think everyone else felt the same way. I was over there going, amen, amen. Yes, Jay, we all needed to hear that. Thank you so much. And it's been amazing, y'all, to watch her grow. Hasn't it not? It's so amazing. I believe you'll be president one day. So I'm going to say it. You're going to be president one day. Yes. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, my jewelry.